Blender for Noobs.
Hello and welcome back to Secrets of Blender Modeling, modeling the Berkey spacecraft, Part 8. In this part of the tutorial, we're going to continue on creating our details. I do want something like 15 to 20 different assets to choose from, just so we have a variety of pieces that we can create our details from. So we're going to be making probably, probably about 8 more or so. But before we get started, one thing that I wanted to do, go back to our main model here. I have decided to go ahead and use this back piece that I created as the front piece as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this front piece, and I'm not going to pitch it because just in case later on I change my mind, or I could get it off of a different version as well. But for right now, I'm just going to move it to a different layer. I'm going to move it off to, let's move it to the last layer. Another reason for doing this, say if I bring this layer back, you can see the faces are at 28,000, and when I take that away, they're really at 16, just above 16,000, and adding another one of these, I think it brings it to something like 22,000. So we save a little bit of geometry there. So I'm just going to Shift D, duplicate this, bring it into position here, do RZ180. Turn it around and bring it in, go to the 3 view, and oops, didn't want that, choose this, and just kind of move it into place there so that it looks sort of like that. Okay, back to the details, which is our second layer. Control up arrow, and I think I did decide on what I'm going to put for my interesting little addition. And that is, with a Shift A, I think I'm actually going to put Suzanne, the Blender monkey, in there. Probably, we'll see. But set her aside for right now. And let's continue on making our details. So what else can we make? I'm going to duplicate this cube again, Shift D, bring it out where we can look at it and work at it. Tab into edit mode, choose faces, and just start doing some extrusions and some strange kind of shapes here. And you'll notice anywhere I think I can get away with deleting a face, I'll do it. Okay, just kind of a bizarre shape there. And do a Shift A and just looking in our primitives, what other shape could we use here that we haven't? One is a cone. So I'm going to choose that, scale it way down. RX90, rotate it. And let's see what we can do with this. Not sure what I just did there. I tried to do a Control R cut. Let me undo that. Alright, and just want to select these here. And let's do something weird. Let's extrude individual, scale upward. Let's see. Yeah, scale downward. No, don't like that. Let's choose individual origins, scale in, and back to medium point, There we go. And extrude individual again. And move that out. Maybe scale it down along the Y. Making something really strange here. Okay, again, no idea what purpose it serves, but for some reason it's on the space station. Look at our primitives again. What else can we use? We haven't used an icosphere. Let's go ahead and grab one of those and scale that down. This could be sort of like a power plant type of thing, so I'm just going to B-box select all these faces, delete them. Select all these faces, extrude individual, scale them. I don't want to scale them down like that. Let me go to individual origins. There we go. Scale them in like that. Extrude. Medium point. Scale them down a little bit like that. And at this point it might be a good idea to mention that one of the things that we're going to run up against when we start placing our details here is we're going to be duplicating a lot of these throughout the ship. So instead of duplicating and getting everything into place and then having to go back and add materials and everything to it, what we want to do is go ahead and add the materials before we place them. Make sure we get them on our assets now so that they'll be on there. Now, I wasn't going to do that until the very end of doing all the assets, but because it's going to be kind of difficult to select all of these triangles, and it's easy to go to our materials, and I'm just going to do a new and call this black underscore flat for flat black, and leave it at diffuse and just change it to black here. And we can change our viewport color to black so it looks, shows up correctly. Now unfortunately when I do this it's going to assign it to the entire material, so the easy thing to do here, keep that selected, go into object mode, and we're going to add another material and choose new and call this white underscore flat. And the reason I call it flat is because I may also create a specular material which is going to be shiny, so just to differentiate those. And bring it up a little bit into viewport as well. And we can go ahead, let me just go ahead and remove that black so that's all white. So now when we tab in here, we still have our triangle selected, and I can add another material, go down to my materials list and add the flat black and assign it. So there we have our little dome-like shape. Okay, let's go back to full screen here. Let's create a UV sphere and do RX90. Scale it way down and bring it over here where we can work with it. And I'm just going to scale along the Y here, make it kind of egg-shaped, and just start working with some other faces and create some interesting areas here. Oops, let's turn on occlude. And of course, as I'm doing these, feel free to create your own type of greebles. Just kind of go crazy with it. Make things that are interesting to you, be interesting to the eye as they see them. Things that will make people look at it and not look at it and go, oh my God, what in the world is that and why is it on a space station? But more or less make it vague enough to where they will look at it and go, I don't know what that is, but it looks like it belongs there, if that makes any sense. Almost like a little steampunk type of ship or something. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, but there it is. Let's go ahead and grab our cube again, Shift D to duplicate. It's amazing how many things you can create with just a cube. Okay, just do a Shift A. I'm going to create a circle this time. And let's make this 12 vertices. Doesn't need to be that big. Scale it down. And extrude. and just basically doing a bunch of extrusions and just moving the pieces around. And I'm going to grab this piece right here and just scale it up just so we can see it when we're going to grab from our extrusions, even though we're going to be scaling all of these things to fit into place as we use them. Grab the cube again, duplicate it, see what else kind of strange object we can make from it. So really this is all Greebles are, is creating little pieces of models that you can place on your larger model that gives the illusion of, you know, something more going on there than there really is. And that's all it is. You just want to be able to fool the eye into, you know, thinking there's something much more there than what it is. Go ahead and create a cylinder, scale it down, RX90. And one thing that you may notice that I'm not creating here is any kind of tubing or hosing. And the reason for that is once we get these pieces into place, if we decide that we want to use any hosing or kind of tubing, we'll have to know, or at least have an idea of how to hook that hosing in or show it so it makes some kind of sense on the model. So there's really no point in making just a hose or tube as an asset here. Okay, and just want to create probably about 2 more, and then we'll be done with the basic details here. So I'm going to make another UV sphere. And for our final cube, same thing, just going to do a lot of strange extrusions. And if nothing else, it definitely gives you practice on extruding and sizing and moving objects. Okay, so this is our basic asset library. As we go along and add these into our model, what we'll probably end up doing is creating a few things in order to connect things together. One other thing that I think I want to do before I close this section is select this, and I'm just going to actually, let's go back to our main page here, and let's go ahead and give all of these the flat white material. Not that one, we already did that one. I think that's all of them. Make them all, give them all the white material. So then I can go into this one, and I just want to select these areas right here, because those are sort of like windows, and give it the black material. Yep. I didn't want to do that. Go back to white. Okay, there we go. Add a material and give it the black material and assign it. And same thing with this part in here. Select that and assign it the black material. Okay, something like that. And for the rest of them, what I think I'll probably end up doing is on these anyway, I'm going to give it sort of a catch-all texture material, just so they won't be out of place, and they'll mesh in with the rest of the model. So we can leave them as they are right now. Another thing that you may notice that I didn't do is I didn't add the subsurf modifier to any of these, and there's a good reason for that. I don't want to add any more geometry to what's here, since these are going to be basically, you know, seen from a distance. That's fine to keep them at their just the regular polygon surfaces. But what we can do in order to get rid of some of these faces that we see is just go to the tools menu and put smooth shading on all the ones you think that might need it. Actually, it looked like it messed this one up quite a bit, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. Okay, so that is our assets that we're going to be using for the details. In the next part, part 9, what we're going to be doing is actually starting to place these details on the craft, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I'll see you in